is Jim Ave again, and in this presentation I'm going to cover the Athletic Training Administration and Organization issue presentations. And what we are doing is we are pretending that you are presenting at a NATA, at your NATA's district annual clinical symposium on one specific athletic training topic. Actually, it's going to be an athletic training and administration topic. And I have a whole bunch of ideals there in the syllabus that you can use, and you can choose other topics as you wish, as long as you let me know what they are. Again, I'm trying to give you the freedom, the autonomy to pick topics that are of interest to you, something that will help you in your athletic training career, at your own workplace. So make sure that you do pick something that you are interested in, because you do a lot better job, as we learned in our athletic training education class. Now the thing is, once that topic is picked, I have a form in week 1 where you'll have to pick your topic, and once that topic is picked, nobody else can use that topic. So there are no repeated topics at all. And again, there are other topics. If you have an administration book, athletic training administration book, flip through your book and look for things that are interesting. It's basically what I did for the topics that I have in our syllabus. I just looked through and found things, and there are more topics than this. Then you're going to develop a 30 to 40 minute audio video presentation like you did in the athletic training education course. I have posted links to online tools that you can use. I do want you to be creative in your presentation. I don't want it to be boring. I don't want you just to read off the PowerPoint slide. I want you to have little words on. If you're going to use PowerPoint or any other tool that you're going to use, we should pay attention to you, not the slides. So less words is better when you're doing your presentation. Just like if you go to an NATA conference and the presenter just has every single word on their slide, why did I need to show up? I could just read your slides. Don't be a boring presenter. I have some presentation ideals. I should have probably taken off VoiceThread. That is kind of a pain. I'll put a link of it to in a class. So we have probably the easiest of them all is audio PowerPoint or Keynote, which is what I use. Keynote is Mac's version of PowerPoint, and then I turned the presentation into a movie so I can upload it to YouTube. Not sure if you can do that with PowerPoint. I know you can do audio PowerPoint. So I do know with PowerPoint that you do have to save your file typically as a .pptx in order to keep the audio on the file. And these other ones that I have here, VoiceThread, Prezi, Screenomatic, are all, and I have more in the class. Links to these different online tools. Feel free to use any of these that you want. Some are going to take a little bit more work than others, but I do want your presentation to be engaging and interesting and helpful to us, because you are trying to teach us what you have learned about these different topics. So what do you have to do in this assignment? It's worth 100 total points. I want you to start your your presentation with a scenario. What I mean by that is give us a story that is realistic for that particular factor that you have picked. Put some flesh and skin around the bones of your topic. So you're going to open up with a story about that uses that particular topic. Then from there, I want you to provide a description of the issue. Now, you have to pretend that none of us knows anything about this particular topic. And some of these topics, we may not know much about them, because if you remember in your administration class, you don't go into every topic in detail. So this is why it needs to be interesting to you. You need to find journal articles, and which is the primary thing I want you to use, journal articles and maybe some textbooks describing what this topic or issue is about. And then you also need to reveal what the literature has said about it. So you're probably going to need to go beyond athletic training literature. You're probably going to have to go into maybe athletic business or business journal articles to get more information about this, or books or stuff like that. So provide a description of the issue, critique the literature about it, tell us what's the good things about this particular topic, what's some challenges about this particular topic or factor. So that one is just a big overview of the particular topic. You want to explain it to us so we understand it. So that's 25 points, those two areas combined. The next section is, how has this particular topic been typically used in the athletic training environment? So you can describe that. What makes this particular topic pretty difficult or easy to use? And then the next part after you describe that is, how have you used this particular topic? Let's say that the topic is administering pre-participation physical exams. So it's pretty easy to explain how it has been used, what are some challenges to use it, what are some good things about using it, and then you're going to describe what have you done with this. I've only been involved in it as a student, and this is how I've used it, blah, blah, blah. You're just going to describe to me your application of the topic. Some of you have had more experience with some of these areas, so you get to describe that in more detail. Next part is, what are your suggestions based on all your readings and experience? How can you make this particular area better? How would you make it better in your workplace? What would you suggest for other athletic trainers in this class to make it easier to do this particular thing at the workplace? It's always good to end a presentation with some kind of summary or conclusion, and that's true of your papers when you write them. You should always have an introduction, you should have a body of your paper, and you should always have a conclusion to your papers and your presentations. Remember, introduction, tell them what you're going to tell them, which in this presentation is a little bit different because we're going to do a scenario. That's going to be your introduction. Tell them what you're going to tell them, and remind them what you just told them. Always want to have references. As a reminder, I expect you to use quality references, and I have placed all the different types of acceptable references in the syllabi so you can see what those are. And the quality of your presentation is worth 10 points. So this is where all the 100 points come from. Then you're going to facilitate a discussion the week that you are presenting. So 1 week is we have a group of students that will present at the end of your presentations due at the end of week 3, and then you'll facilitate the discussion through week 4. The other half of students will be doing their presentation, will be due at the end of week 4, and facilitating a discussion during week 5. And so then you'll attach your presentation in a form, or maybe you'll link it, depending on if you're going to use a YouTube video or some other kind of presentation. Just make sure that we can gain access to the material. Make sure that the material is public or able to everybody to see it. After class is over, you can turn it to private so nobody else can see it if you want to do that. Just make sure that we have access to it, especially me, because I'm the one who's got to grade it. If I can't access it, you get a 0 in class. or in the assignment. So I got to be able to get it to it and grade it. I want you to post in the forum 2 to 4 open-ended questions. Remember, an open-ended question is a question that cannot be answered with a yes or no. It has to be have multiple answers with the question. And then what you're responsible for doing is once students respond back to your questions is go back to read their responses and follow up with additional questions. Your responsibility to keep that thread going through the week, through the time that I have set up for the threaded discussion. For your presentation, I expect a minimum of 5 references. Again, look in the syllabus for the types of references that I expect. Remember, no Wikipedia blogs or any of those type of things. I want you to cite the presentations or cite the references in the presentation on each page. I pretty much expect almost every single thing to be referenced and supported. Remember, evidence-based academics. Probably the only section where you're probably not going to have too much referencing in is how you have used this material, but almost every other section, maybe in the scenario you're going to make that up, but almost every other section you should have references supporting what you're telling me or telling the class. Just like if you go to a NATA conference, you'll see that in presentations. Provide a reference page or list in your presentation. Remember that we do have a 2 gigabyte file limit, which is usually not a problem anymore. It used to be a lot smaller and students would have to cut up their presentation, but 2 gigabyte files are huge. And so if you're trying to upload that with Wi-Fi, you're probably never going to upload it. So make sure that you're hardwired into the internet on an Ethernet cord on your computer, so you can make sure that you can get that uploaded. Bigger the file, the longer it's going to take to upload, and it depends on your internet speed. So just make sure that you can get that done. Remember, I do expect you to become the expert on this topic, and so that's kind of the level that, just like if you're doing the presentation at an NATA conference, you are considered the expert. They wouldn't accept your proposal to do the presentation unless you were an expert. You will be assessed. I do have a rubric in a class. It's pretty detailed on each different section. So I do suggest that you download that rubric so you can see what you're going to be assessed on. You will also have to turn in your assignment into TaskStream, because I'll assess you in TaskStream in addition to in Moodle. And again, we talked about TaskStream last class. It's just a tool that FPU and a lot of other universities use to do student assessment at a larger level, so we can make programmatic changes and those type of things. Then we're going to have the threaded discussion, the forum responses. Each student must first listen to the presentation. I'm going to have each student listen to, I believe we're listening to each other's. So we're going to listen to, if there's like 3 or 4 in the first time presentation, you listen to all students' presentations. Okay? That includes the students that are presenting in that week, because we got a small class, so it's not going to be that difficult to do this. Then you will answer the 2 to 4 posted questions, and then that posted response should be at least 1 page or 3 fully developed paragraphs supported with references when appropriate. And then I also expect you to go back and, after you've posted, and see what other people the people who are facilitating discussion have responded back to you. And our last part of this assignment is a reflection paper at the end of the class, which I think this is due to Monday or Tuesday of the last week of class. I'm going to ask you to write a reflection paper. This is one of the things that we know from adult learning theory, is that adults need to reflect on their learning. And so that's what I'm going to have you do. So the first main big question is, what did you learn about this topic? And after your presentation on the topic and you had interaction with your fellow students, did you learn anything new that you can apply to your practice? If so, what is that? What kind of things surprised you about the threaded discussion or just the topic in general? I just want to know what you learned, what you can use, how this can affect you, how can it help you in your practice. And the second part of this reflection is I want you to reflect on our program student learning outcomes, and I want you to specifically reflect on the PSLO 3 and 4 and the athletic training student learning outcomes number 2. Okay, so first what I want you to do is explain what each one of those means. So what does PSLO number 3 and 4 mean, and what does the athletic training SLO number 2 mean? So you need to explain that, and then how have you satisfied them in this particular class and this assignment. And then our formatting for this reflection paper is going to be anywhere from 3 to 6 pages. Should be double spaced, 12-point fonts, 1-inch margins, not including a title page. I mean, I have it all there. It's pretty straightforward. Do put section titles. It just, for me, I know where you're making topic changes. That's the main reason why you have section titles in papers, is to help the reader understand when you've made changes in the topic. And you'll turn this assignment in Moodle only. And if you have any questions about this assignment, please ask. So I'm here to answer those questions for you. This is your signature assignment for this class. This is the main assignment for me to assess that you've learned the material in our course. And I look forward to hearing your presentations and reading your reflections and seeing the threads. This is a typical way in graduate classes that classes are ran, where students are expected to become the expert and share their knowledge with their fellow students. So I look forward to your presentations.